Water rises around your legs, icy and relentless, as the locked door refuses to budge no matter your desperate pounding. Your heart races, lungs tighten, and a single thought echoes louder than the rushing water.
Am I about to drown?
Am I about to drown? Panic claws at your throat, urging you to thrash wildly, but every wasted second steals precious oxygen from your body. The ceiling feels lower, shadows stretch, and you realize the room is no longer just a trap. It's becoming your coffin. Researchers have shown that once panic sets in, decision-making drops by nearly 80%, turning rational thought into chaos. You kick at the door again, but doors underwater rarely give way. They're pressed shut by immense hydrostatic pressure. Long-term observations indicate that just a few inches of rising water can pin a door tighter than a car crash. You consider breaking a window, but smashing glass underwater requires more than twice the strength you think you have. Most people inhale in desperation, yet inhaling water triggers laryngospasm, sealing your airway and speeding your death by drowning. According to data collected in Alaska cold water accidents, hypothermia accelerates within minutes, making muscles weak and thinking dangerously slow. Wrong choice 1. You gulp water and thrash violently. Your body burns energy faster and death arrives within minutes. Wrong choice 2. You press yourself against the ceiling, ignoring oxygen management, and black out before rescue ever arrives. You feel for your phone, but electricity and water create another silent killer. Electrocution if wires are exposed nearby. Field studies in urban floods revealed that 60% of trapped victims died not from drowning, but from electrical shock. The right plan begins with calm. Slow your breath, conserve oxygen, and reduce panic's grip on your survival instincts. Experts emphasize the rule of 3. 3 minutes without air, 3 hours without shelter, 3 days without water. In a flooded room, oxygen is your only currency. You must spend it wisely or bankruptcy comes in death. Instead of wasting energy kicking, you search calmly for air pockets because trapped bubbles can add precious survival minutes. Wildlife experts have noticed otters and beavers survive underwater by exhaling slowly, minimizing waste and extending usable oxygen reserves. So now the question presses harder than the rising water. Will you fight smart or drown in panic? The water creeps past your chest now, each breath tighter, the ceiling inching closer, leaving you fewer choices every second. You scream for help, but sound travels poorly underwater. Neighbors might only hear muffled echoes, useless against thick walls. Researchers have shown that human lungs hold about 6 liters of air, but panic cuts usable oxygen almost in half. You press your hands against the ceiling, clawing for space, but the shrinking air pocket already tastes sour with carbon dioxide. Wrong choice 3. You hold your breath as long as possible, ignoring carbon dioxide buildup, which triggers suffocating panic earlier. Field experiments confirm that the urge to breathe isn't from lack of oxygen, but from CO2 levels spiking dangerously high. That's why divers train to exhale slowly. Keeping CO2 manageable extends clarity even when oxygen reserves run critically thin. The water kisses your chin now, icy needles numbing your lips, your jaw trembling as primal terror gnaws at reason. Wrong choice 4. You keep all clothes on? Forgetting waterlogged fabric becomes heavy, dragging you down and wasting strength faster. Long-term observations indicate soaked jeans and shoes increase drowning risk by 50% in sudden flood entrapments. Stripping off unnecessary layers reduces drag, giving you slightly more freedom of movement in the cramped, water-choked room. You push toward the window again, remembering movies where heroes punch glass. But tempered safety glass resists blunt force underwater. Researchers have shown car windows require pointed strikes at corners, not center punches, especially when submerged in pressurized conditions. Without tools, your fists are useless. Knuckles break before glass shatters, and wasted effort drains oxygen and hope alike. Wrong choice 5. You drink the floodwater in desperation, but contaminated water can trigger choking, vomiting, and near-instant lung aspiration. Field studies in disaster zones revealed over 70% of trapped victims suffered secondary drowning after swallowing contaminated floodwater. The right move now is strategy. Conserve oxygen, search methodically, and prepare tools. Every object might become a survival weapon. You scan the floating debris, chair legs, broken shelves, maybe even a shard of tile, all potential makeshift glass breakers. You remember, striking sharp at a window corner underwater works, while wild center blows only sap your strength uselessly. The water swallows your mouth, you tilt your head back, clinging to the shrinking ceiling pocket. Time is nearly gone. Your nose barely touches the ceiling now, each inhale desperate. Each exhale, precious bubbles lost forever into black water below. Researchers have shown that an average person loses consciousness after 2 minutes of oxygen deprivation, but trained divers last 4. Wrong choice 6. You hyperventilate before diving, thinking it stores oxygen, but it only lowers CO2 and hides warning signs. That mistake is called shallow water blackout. Victims faint underwater without warning, never even realizing they're out of air. You force yourself to breathe slowly instead,
Inhale
in through the
calm.
nose, out
Exhale
through pursed
control.
lips, conserving oxygen as
saved.
divers do. Long-term observations indicate calm breathing can extend usable consciousness by over a minute, which may be your only lifeline. Wrong choice 7. You flail
Flailing
against floating
wastes
debris,
energy.
wasting strength when controlled movement is proven to
equals
save far
energy
more
saved.
energy. Field studies and disaster simulations revealed calm, deliberate actions doubled survival chances compared to chaotic thrashing in confined floods. You scan again? Yes, that broken tile corner might work if you strike low and sharp against window edges underwater. But hesitation gnaws. What if it doesn't break?
What if it doesn't break?
Every attempt drains both oxygen and precious hope from your body. Your vision narrows, tunnel dark, because the brain is shutting down peripheral functions first, prioritizing oxygen only for vital organs. According to neurological studies, early hypoxia triggers dizziness, ringing in ears, and poor judgment. The silent thief of survival chances. Wrong choice 8. You close your eyes and wait for rescue, but survival odds plummet if you surrender initiative. Researchers
problem
tracking
solvers
urban flood
survive
deaths
more.
showed passive waiting victims had a 90% higher fatality rate than active problem solvers. You shove fear down, grip the tile shard tight, and dive
Initiative
under,
activated.
targeting the corner of the
Target
stubborn glass.
locked.
The first strike glances off uselessly, reverberating pain through your arm as bubbles leak uncontrollably from your clenched teeth. The second strike bites deeper, faint cracks spiderwebbing outward, tiny trails of freedom shimmering in the dark water. Wrong choice 9. You strike wildly in panic now, scattering strength and missing the weakened point where cracks already spread. The right move is precision. Steady, focused force at the same point because repeated stress breaks even-tempered safety glass. Your chest screams for air, body convulses, yet you know this is the razor's edge between survival and drowning. With trembling arms, you drive the tile shard again into the cracked corner, and finally the glass fractures outward violently. Water rushes in with brutal force, equalizing pressure instantly, and the sudden surge almost knocks you unconscious against the wall. Researchers have shown that pressure equalization during flooding creates powerful currents, often disorienting victims and pulling them deeper inside. Wrong choice 10. You try to swim against the incoming torrent, but
Wrong
wasted
kiss.
effort drags you back and burns oxygen. The correct instinct is to let the flow carry you outward, riding it like a riptide until pressure stabilizes. Field studies and water rescue training revealed that yielding briefly to current flow increases escape success by nearly 70%. You feel your body pulled toward the jagged opening, shards glinting like teeth, threatening to shred skin and muscle. Wrong choice 11. You rush headlong through broken glass, forgetting water magnifies cuts, and blood loss accelerates hypothermic shock. Long-term observations indicate even small lacerations in cold water drain body heat 4 times faster than intact skin exposure. Instead, you tuck your arms, curl slightly, and aim feet first, minimizing injury while slipping through the shattered frame. Your chest convulses, screaming for oxygen, brain flickering between consciousness and blackout as you kick into the open water. Researchers confirm drowning victims often inhale reflexively in the last 5 seconds. One gasp filling lungs entirely with deadly liquid. Wrong choice 12. You exhale everything now, hoping to lighten your body, but you sink faster, losing precious buoyancy. Divers know the right trick. Release only small bubbles, maintaining partial buoyancy while guiding your ascent safely toward the surface. Darkness presses around you, muffled silence broken only by thudding heartbeat and the dull roar of rushing bubbles above. Field experiments showed humans instinctively swim straight, but in zero visibility, disorientation pulls many downward instead of upward to safety. You remember the survival rule. Follow your bubbles, watch them rise,
the
and
bubbles
chase their
by
path
survival rule.
relentlessly toward the surface light. Wrong choice 13. You claw wildly at water, wasting energy and veering sideways while disorientation tricks you into swimming deeper. The right move is calm, deliberate strokes upward, conserving energy while oxygen-starved muscles scream rebellion inside your weakening body. Your fingers brush the surface shimmer above. Salvation just inches away, but blackout threatens to drag you down forever. Your chest heaves violently, diaphragm spasming, body on the brink of surrender, but the glimmer of light fuels your last push. With one desperate kick, your face bursts above the surface, and air explodes into your starving lungs like fire. You cough violently, hacking water and bile as your vision swims between dark stars and the faint glow of survival. Researchers have shown that after near drowning, secondary drowning can occur hours later, as water in lungs triggers delayed collapse. Wrong choice. 14. You ignore symptoms, staggering away, only to suffocate silently later when lungs inflame and fluids surge back. Field studies in coastal rescues revealed that nearly 20% of survivors died within a day from untreated secondary drowning. The correct move is immediate medical attention, oxygen masks, monitoring, and warmth to counteract both hypothermia and lung distress. Long-term observations indicate survivors who sought treatment within the first hour reduced complications by almost 80%. You float on your back now, following survival training, conserving energy, stabilizing breath, and keeping your airways safely above water. Wrong choice 15. You thrash toward shore blindly, draining energy reserves while hypothermia gnaws and fatigue drags you under again. Instead, you tread lightly, float, and signal. Survival experts note visibility often saves lives faster than reckless self-rescue attempts. A distant rescuer's light pierces the gloom, drawn by your controlled signals instead of muffled screams that water swallows whole. You're pulled onto solid ground, lungs burning, body trembling, but alive. Proof that calm choices can bend death's odds. Researchers studying disaster survivors found a common trait. Not strength, not luck, but the ability to stay rational under fear. Every wrong choice you avoided, hyperventilation, glass punching, frantic thrashing, was a path to death that countless real victims once followed. Every right choice, oxygen control, debris as tools, calm strokes upward, was grounded in survival science proven by divers and rescuers. Survival isn't about superhuman strength, it's about knowledge, awareness, and mastering fear before fear masters you. You survived the flooded room tonight, but countless others didn't. Because panic is often deadlier than the water itself. So the real question isn't about this story. It's about you, your instincts, and your choices in crisis. If trapped in a flooded room, lungs burning and fear clawing, would you panic and drown or think and survive?